Today we are learning something about link state routing and OSPF protocol. So basically till now we have seen something about RIP protocol. So now we are going to see something about OSPF, and since OSPF is based on link state routing, today we will see something about link state routing protocol. So till now here you can see that link state routing is a little different from the earlier routing technique, distance vector routing. So how it is different? Here in case of link state routing, each node in the domain, each node has the knowledge of the entire topology of the domain, okay, including the list of nodes and links, how they are connected, including the type and the cost related to the transmission on this particular path, and including the condition of the links, whether they are working or not. These all the things can be done, and basically for these things Dijkstra algorithm is used. Using Dijkstra algorithm, as you would be aware, you can find the shortest path between these things, between the nodes. So the same thing is done. Shortest path is found using this Dijkstra algorithm, and also it can be based on the metric. Okay. So here today in this topic we are going to discuss something how these routing tables can be built. So this is simple link state routing. You can here you can see basically here you can see we have 5 nodes A, B, C, D and E. Now each node uses same topology, I should say actually uses same topology to create the routing table. But you can see the routing table for each node will be different. How it will be different? It will be based on its current location, as it is here. So shortest path to a node may be from a different path from B. However, it may be from a different path from A. So a different kind of this shortest path, although here you can see all of them are same, but later on we will see that a different path can be there for each node. So now let me tell you something about this thing, like what will happen. All of these nodes, node A knows that it is connected to node B, right, with metric 5, to C with metric 2 and to D with metric 3, right. Node C knows that it is connected to node A and metric with metric 2, right, to node B with metric 4 and to node E with metric 4, right. Node 5 knows that it is connected to a node A and with the metric 3, and similarly others. So although there are some overlap, right, there is an overlap in the knowledge that 5 is coming here also and 5 is coming here also. The overlap guarantees the creation of common topology, a picture of whole domain for each node, right. So now we have to understand how tables are built, routing tables are built, right. So these are the 4 things we are going to do. One is creation of the states of the links by each node. We will call it link state packets, LSP. Next thing is dissemination of LSPs to every other routers. We will call it flooding. However, it will be in an efficient and reliable way. Next thing is formation of shortest path tree for each node. We will use Dijkstra algorithm and kind of thing. Calculation of routing table based on the shortest path tree. Okay, so very simple. Next thing is creation of LSP. So actually this LSP can carry a large amount of information, right? So here LSP data, the node ID, okay, several information including the node ID, the list of links, a sequence number, this and age. Okay, these are all the information which are needed to make the topology. These kind of things are needed. Okay, these can be considered as LSP data. How these LSPs will be generated? Where when there is a change in topology of the domain. Okay, these LSPs can be generated in two cases, two occasions I should say. One occasion can be when there is a change in the topology, right? So when there are some changes, it will trigger the LSP dissemination. With this, what will happen? Information will be transferred quickly, right, in the domain, so that they can update their topology. Now in the second occasion is the periodic update, right, on a periodic basis of 60 minutes or 2 hours. These can be based on implementation. So according to a predefined period, it can send the LSP, right? I mean, these LSPs can be created, and after that, after this creation, it will be flooded, right? Before that, flooding, let me tell you about this thing. Okay, flooding, you can understand that after that it will be flooded, right? So what happened? This LSP will be created, and this is transferred to other nodes, right? So a node that receives the LSP compares it with the copy it may already have, right? If the newly arrived LSP is older than the one it has, then it will discard the LSP. Otherwise, if it is newer, the node will do something, right? What it will do, it will discard the old LSP it has, and it will also send a copy of it to each interface of its towards other nodes. That is the thing. So now we are going for this path formation. We will try to see how this shortest path is formed, and we will use the Dijkstra algorithm. I believe you understand what happens in Dijkstra algorithm, where you repeatedly find the next node and update the existing things, right? So basically what happens is there something. Okay, suppose here this is the root node and other nodes are there. So what happens, you initialize these things. How you are initializing? You select a node, one node from where you want to find the minimum path to all other nodes, right? You select the node as a root, and you add this A in the path, right? And then you set the shortest distances from this selected node to all other node. Since there is a path from A to B and A to D, so they are in reach. Shortest distance is 2 and 3. It is okay. And from A it cannot reach to others, so other places it is infinity. Okay. So that is a very simple thing. Now there will be iterations, and in each iteration you will try to add one more node. So how you will do that? In the next iteration, you went through the path metric, that it was 3 value and it was 2. So this B was finalized. I should say it was included in the path, and then the other paths were updated. Shortest distance was updated. Shortest distance to D was 3 still from A. Now since B is added, so the shortest distance to C and E are known. It is 7 and 6, and it is less than the earlier path, it was infinity. So the new path is being considered, and for others we cannot reach yet, so they are infinity. Now what happens? Along the path, it was reachable in 3, it was reachable in 6, and it was reachable in 7. So this is something which is finalized in this iteration. So this has been finalized, and no more links are needed. Distance means it cannot, we are not adding this distance from D to E, since it may create a loop, right? Loop kind of thing. So although since E has not been finalized, so we will calculate the distance, and if we see in the last example, we will find that the distance, this is 3 plus 5, it will be 8, and for now we are reaching it in 6. That's why it is not being updated. Okay, so 6, and after that 6 is being finalized. It was 7, so 6 is finalized. In next iteration, I believe you can understand 7 will be finalized, and if at all they both will be same, then it will be a different case. Otherwise 8 will be finalized, right? Okay, so now you can reach here in 9. Earlier you were reaching there in 10, now you will reach in 9. So in this way, this will be the final shortest path tree which will be created, and depending on this shortest path tree, you will form a table, right, where you will mention that from A you can reach A in 0 distance, 0 metric, I should say, right? From A to B you will reach directly without any other node in between in 2 metric. You can reach D with 3 distance. Similarly, these things you will okay, this is the table for A, where you are mentioning you can reach with 0 cost to A, you can reach B with 2 cost directly, D in 3 cost directly, C you can reach C through B, E, F, G through B, and these are the particular cost. In this way you create a table. Although you can have some other information as well in this table, however these are the minimum things that you have to keep. Now we are ready to see something about OSPF. Basically, it is also intra-domain routing protocol. Earlier we have seen RIP, now it is OSPF. Actually it is based on link state routing protocol that just we have seen. So we also understand that in OSPF this routing table that we have, it will be transferred between the nodes for maintaining the routing information, right? So within an autonomous system you will try to have this protocol. Now we are going to discuss few things like what is area, what is metric, what is a type of link, graphical represent, how something can be represented graphically, how this OSPF packet looks like, and how this update packet looks like, and other kind of packets if at all they are an encapsulation. So let us say about area. You will see here that one autonomous systems are having, one autonomous system is having multiple areas, right? One area can be a group of local networks, right? All these areas will be connected to a backbone area. It is area 0 actually, okay? they will be connected through a router. It will be called as backbone router. These routers means the backbone routers are here, and after that there will be a router which will connect the backbone to the area. They will be called as area border router. Inside an area there will be several routers and networks, although every other things inside an area should be connected to each other. So these things will be considered as one area. Among this area, the packets will be flooded, the information will be flooded within the area, and after that this border area router will actually maintain the information of these things and all the routing information in the area, and it will help the backbone routers with the information of this area, right? That is the thing which is here in this area. If I some more things, the same thing here, it is written that it is a collection of networks. It also has a area ID. A router inside the area will flood the area with routing information, and area border routers are there which will summarize the information, and backbone area and backbone routers, all of the area inside an autonomous system must be connected to the backbone. Okay. One more thing is virtual link. If because of any problem the connectivity between the backbone and the area is broken, a virtual link between the routers must be created by the administration to allow connectivity to the functions of the backbone as the primary area. Okay, we have different kind of links. Before this, as I said, there we will also talk about metric. What a metric is. So metric is just the cost, right? So what happens in this OSPF protocol, it allows the administrator to assign some cost, this cost to each route. So this cost will be called as metric. So this metric can be based on different type of services. It may be minimum delay, maximum throughput, and others. So as a matter of fact, a router can have multiple routing tables, each based on different type of service, keeping in view of minimum delay or maximum throughput, these kind of things. So now we can see something about the type of links. Basically, in OSPF terminology, a connection is called a link. So 4 type of links we can see here. It can be point-to-point, transient, stub, and virtual. Okay. So point-to-point is point-to-point link connects to router without any other host or router in between, right? It can be represented like this, right? Now there is something called transient link. Basically, transient link is a network. You can see here a network with several routers attached to it. So the data can enter through any of the router and leave through any of the router. So in case each router has many neighbors, right? So for example, here you can see that router A has neighbors, right? Which are the neighbors? All of them, B, C, D, E, right? Similarly, for B also others are the neighbor, and C also others are neighbor, right? In that case, graphically, if you want to represent, you can represent something like this, right? A has 4 neighbors, B also has 4 neighbors, C also has 4 neighbors. This is the representation. No problem. But it is somewhat unrealistic, or I should say inefficient, and really unrealistic. Inefficient because each router needs to advertise the neighborhood to four other routes, right? So these are 5 nodes, and each are advertising four advertisements, 4 packets. So it will be 20 packets, right? 20 advertisement. So it is not efficient. Now, something if we talk about not realistic, it is not realistic because there is no single network, single link between each pair of routers, right? Other paths are also there. So this is something which is realistic. Each router is connected to every other router through one single network, right? So this is a router which may have some other functions, but it is a designated router for this thing to have to maintain connection between these, right? That is the thing we are talking about. So this is realistic. So this, in this way, a transient network can be represented, or a transient link can be represented. Now we will see something about a stub link. You can see that when a router is having a designated network, I should say a network is having a designated router, right? Only one router. It is this network is a stub network, right? If they are connected to other networks also, that is a different thing. Then we will see some other that link may be other links, but here what is having, we have a designated router for this particular network, and we call it stub link. In this way we actually represent it. So if you want to see a graphical representation for an autonomous system, so suppose this is an autonomous system, and for this autonomous system, this is the graphical representation how you can represent. We are saying that is network 2, network 1, network 3 and other networks, and in between these are the yellow ones, these are the routers, right? So very simple and very easy to understand. So next thing that we can see is the type of OSPF packets. Basically 5 different types of OSPF packets we have. It can be a hello packet, database description, link state request, link state update, link state acknowledgement. These kind of packets are there. Among these, link state update is an important one, which is having I should say other kinds, 5 different kinds. It may be router link, network link, summary link to network, summary link to AS boundary router, external link. We will see this while seeing update packet format. Now let me start with this common header format. All of the packets will have this common header, where you are having version. You can understand 8-bit field, which will show the version of OSPF. Currently it may be version 2. Now second field is type, which is again 8-bit. So we already know that 5 types of packets are there, so it will have values from 1 to 5. Okay. Another thing is message length. It is a 16-bit field. Now it defines the length of the total message including the header. Okay. This is source router IP address, 32-bit. You can understand it is the address of the router which sends the packet. And area identification, it is another 32-bit field that defines the area within which the routing packet plays, right? This is checksum. Checksum is always used for error detection. So this is for error detection, and Actually it is on entire packet. It is not like the earlier cases the checksum was for the header only. In this case the checksum is for the entire packet excluding the authentication type. And also this authentication data field. Now this authentication type is actually 16-bit field. It defines the authentication protocol used in this area. Okay. At this time, two types of authentication are defined. You can have 0 to say that none, no authentication, and 1 for password, that you are using some password. Now this is authentication 32-bit, where if the authentication type is 0, this field is filled with zeros. If the authentication type was 1, this field will carry 8-character password. Okay, that is the thing. So this is a 32-bit or 64-bit, it may differ. Okay, so link state update packets. Okay, what happens here? This is actually, we can say, a very important operation, right? Update packet. So it is used by the router to advertise the state of its links. The general format it is. So what will happen here? You can see OSPF common header. We already have seen that how common header looks like. Number of link state advertisement, how many advertisement are there. This is the link state advertisement, right? So here in this link state advertisement, multiple link state advertisement can be there depending on the number you have mentioned here. So you will see this link state advertisement packet, how it looks like in the next slide. Basically what it covers is network link, router link, summary of the link, summary on the boundary router, and other things, some information. So let us see this thing. This is a, I should say, a general header, right? So here you have this field link state age. This field indicates the number of seconds which are elapsed since this message was first generated. So while flooding, what happens? This message goes from one router to another. So at some time we will have to start not accepting such packets, right? So this is the link state age. So it states the time that has been elapsed when this message is started. Is reserved is okay. E and T. E flag, okay, actually it has been written in next slide also, but E flag is, it means that the area is a stub area or not. Okay, so if it is set to 1, it means that the area is a stub area. T flag means if it is set to 1, it means that the router can handle multiple types of services. Okay. Link state type, actually LSA types are there, right? So there are 5 different advertisement types, right? You can understand. One is network link, summary link, I should say summary link to network, summary link to boundary router, right? And another is external link, right? Router link also. So these kind of link types are there. So here you have to mention 1 to 5 value for this router link. Link state ID, advertising router, these all are values, I should say. Okay, link state ID, it will always, I will show you in the next slide, depending on the link state type. For that particular type, it will have the IP address of that particular thing. Okay, let us see actually. E flag, T flag, advertising router, and link state sequence number. Okay, okay. Advertising router is the IP address of the router which is advertising the message. Link state sequence number is a sequence number assigned to each link. Each link state update message. Okay. These are the LS type and LS ID. So if the type is router link, then link state ID will be IP address of the router. Network link, IP address of the designated router. Summary link to network, address of the network. Summary link to autonomous system boundary, IP address of the boundary router. So depending on the type of the link, the value of the link state ID will change. Accordingly, we have also seen what is the value of advertising router and the link state sequence number. Along with that, there was link state checksum. Have I mentioned? No. Okay. So there was link state checksum and length. So link state checksum is not the usual checksum. Instead, actually, the value of this field is calculated using some you can say Fletcher's checksum, right, which is based on the whole packet, except for the age field. Age field is not used, and other whole packet is used, and this link state checksum is calculated. Length defines the length of the whole packet in bytes. So these are the things we have seen. Then router link. Okay, so here we have seen different kind of links can be there, router link, network link, these kind of things. So we are trying to see about router link, where the router link defines the link of the router, right? So advertising router with 4 links. Okay, it has been linked to this particular point to point, if at all it has stub network, virtual or transient, these kind of things may be present. So here's link ID and link data. Okay, router link LSA it is. So what is happening, this is the our format. Here LSA general header we have already seen. General header was this packet, this format. General header we have already mentioned this all the things, link state, type and ID. Now it is a router, so router link, IP address, whatever. And now for router link, what will be the next packet format here? Reserved, EB reserved, number of router links, link ID, data, link data, and these kind of information. So here link ID is the value of the field will actually depend on the type of link. Actually the type of link can be any of the 4 we have seen here, right? So if at all it is point to point, so the link identification will be address of the neighbor router. Yeah, so let me show here. It is, if at all it is point to point, it is address of the neighbor router. Interface number, it will be the link data value. Link type is transient, then it is the link identification, address of designated router, transient. The stub will be network address, and virtual, if at all it is, the address of neighbor router. Network mask, router address, network mask because it already has some IP address, mask is given, so it can find the network address. So this kind of information is here, and along with that link type, so link type, any one of the 4 as you have already seen. Number of type of service. Number of type of service will have the number of type of services announced for each link. Okay, so multiple type of services can be there. Now it is metric for TOS 0, means the default type of service. So actually it will define the metric, means cost, for the default type of service, right? TOS is the type of service reserved, and the metric is the metric corresponding to the particular type of service. So this particular can be repeated: this type of service, this metric; this type of service, this metric, kind of thing. Okay, so now if we try to see something. Okay, here we are going to see an image which will have the final routing table for routers. Actually we have seen the viewer earlier. So here you can see we have the metric 2, metric 3. The router has, actually you can see 3 links, right? 2 of type 1, point to point, and this is a stub, right? So type 3, type 3. So now if you want to see the router link LSA, it will be like this. Common header was there, number of advertisement you are saying 1 only, NSA general header was there. Okay, number of links, you mentioned 3 links. Here the IP address 10.24.8.10, where it was this one. Why? As we have seen, it will have the interface number address of the neighbor router only, point to point case. So this thing 1, this is the type 1, and this 4 was metric actually, so that is the thing. Another, and this is type. Okay, this is type R. So 6. Now this was a stub, so it will be address. So this is its address, mask, type, and metric. So this was for router link, right? If at all it is network link, what will happen? In this case, you will have a designated router, right? It will advertise the links. However, you will have a packet format, right? It is very simple, where you will have just network mask and attached router. Very simple. Network mask will define the network mask, and attached router, actually this is repeated for each router. So this will define the IP address of all the attached routers. That is the thing. Very simple. So suppose this is something. So for this you have this thing, mask, and the IP address. Suppose you send which router sends out router link LSA. Okay, from this figure, right? Router link LSA, so which router advertises router link LSA? It looks like all of the routers will advertise router link LSA. R1 has 2 links, N1, N2. R3 has also 2 links, N2 and N3. R2 has 1 link, N1. R2 has N2, right? Okay. So all of them will have router link LSA. Okay, network link LSA. Which are sending network link LSA? Here. Okay, no, no. In this only, right? Network link LSA, which will send the LSA. All of these networks actually, all the three networks, N1, N2 and N3, they will send this thing, network link LSA, right? For N1, R1 advertises, right? And because it is the only one which is attached to N1. For N2, R1, R2, R3, all of them will advertise, right? Although any one of them will be a designated router for this, so any one of them will advertise, however any one of them can. For N3, you can see R3 is the designated, so R3 will advertise. So yeah, summary link to network, right? This is another LSA you have already seen. So we have already seen router link and network link, right? Those advertisements are actually flooding, right? They flood the area with information. They are within the area, right? Now a router must also know about the networks outside its area, right? So this area border router can provide this information. Hello? So this area border router is active in more than one area. Area 0, maybe backbone area, and this particular area. So it receives router link and network link advertisement, and what happens, it creates a routing table for each area. So here in this example what you can see is router R1 is here. It is an area border router, right? Now it will have two routing tables, one for area 1 and one for this area 0. Now R1 will actually floods, it will flood the area 1 with all the information about how to reach the network located in area 0. In the same way, router 2 will flood the area 2 with information about how to reach some network in area 0, right? The summary link to network LSA is used by the area border routers to announce the existence of other networks outside the particular area, right? So the summary link to network advertisement is actually very simple. It consists of the network mask and the metric of each type of service, right? Each advertisement announces only one single network, right? If there is more than one network, separate advertisement must be issued for each. So if you want to see the summary link to network LSA packet format, so it is the same thing. You already know the OSPF common header format, LSA general header you already know, and this part, it has just these three things. Network mask, you already know, it defines the network mask. TOS is type of service and metric is metric, right? Means this field metric for the type of service defined in the type of service field. Okay, for this type of service, this particular metric. Now next thing, summary link to autonomous system boundary router. Earlier what happened, the routers know the cost to reach all the networks inside the autonomous system, but Now if you want to send something, means if you want the information out of outside the autonomous system, in that case this type of LSA will help. What will you do now? Suppose this you have area border router, right? That area border router floods their areas with this information, right? Now here what happens, this that packet actually is used to announce the route for to an autonomous system boundary router. What will happen, these will flood with the information how to reach this autonomous system boundary router. So format was same as you have already seen earlier. So if a message can reach the network, it can be picked up by this AS boundary router. So let me show you. This is something which is the same thing as we have already seen. The fields are same of the boundary router, right? If it is external link, okay, external link LSA is also there. So till now you have seen how it was done inside an autonomous system. Now it is being linked to a network which is outside the autonomous system. So you will have to keep some information along with this thing, which is forwarding address and external route tag, right? That is the very simple thing. Now one thing that was remaining was hello packet. This was the first thing, right? Okay, so in hello packet what happens? You will have the OSPF common header. Along with that you have network mask, you understand, hello interval, these kind of things. So here the network mask, you understand, it is 32-bit field network over which this message being sent. Hello interval, you can see it is 16-bit field. It defines actually the number of seconds between the hello messages. Okay, all zeros, let it be E, T and priority, right? E flag, when it is set, it means the area is a stub. T, you already know, if it is set, what it means? It means that the router supports multiple metrics, right? Priority field actually defines the priority of the router, right? It determines the selection of the designated router. Multiple routers are there, you will set the priority of these routers, right? In one example you have seen the network was connected with 3 routers. So if you will assign the priority to these, so it will help in deciding the designated router, right? One with highest priority will be taken as designated router. Now this is dead interval, 32-bit field. It defines the number of seconds that must pass before a router assumes that a network is particular neighbor is dead. This is designated router IP address, 32-bit field. You can understand it is the IP address of designated router for that particular network. Backup designated router IP address. This is another IP address of a backup designated router for the network. This is neighbor IP address. This will be repeated, means multiple neighbor IP address is possible. So 32-bit field which defines a router that have agreed to be the neighbors of the sending router. So this was something about the hello packet. Now other thing was database description packet. So when a router is connected to a system for the first time or after a failure, it needs the complete link state database immediately. Therefore, It sends a hello packet to greet its neighbor, and if this is the first time that the neighbors hear from the router, they send a database description message. So this is a database description packet. It does not contain complete database information. It only gives an outline, the title of each line in the database. So here also you are having a certain field, OSPF common border, all zeros, and then EB, all zeros, IM or M or S. So what this E means, E is actually if it is set, so it actually E stands for external. So if it is set, if this E bit is set, it is 1, in that case the advertising router of is an autonomous boundary router. Okay. B means area border router. So if it is a area border router, this bit will be set, all zeros. I and M. I is initialization flag. So if it is set, it means the message is the first message. M means I should say more flag. So if this is set, it means this is not the last message, other messages are also coming. M or S flag means master slave bit. Okay, so this indicates the origin of the packet. If it is master, it is 1. If it is slave, it is 0. Okay. Message sequence number is another 32-bit field. This contains the sequence number of the message. It is used to match request with the response, right? So in the request the sequence number is something, in the response also same sequence number will be kept. Okay, this is another 20-byte field, LSA header. It's okay. We have already seen the format of this header, whether it will be of different types. So according to those particular type, these header formats we have already seen. Now, link state request packet. So this is a packet that is sent by a router that needs information about a specific route, or maybe multiple routes. So actually it is answered with a link state update packet. You will also see those things that it can be used by a newly connected router or to request more information about some routers once it receives the database description packet. So here you can see the 3 fields. It is link state type, link state ID, and advertising router. We already know these things, link state type and ID. According to type, that ID value changes, right? Now you can see this is the acknowledgement packet. LSA general header 20 bytes according to the corresponding type we have already seen. Now how this packet is encapsulated, actually it uses the IP datagrams. So OSPF packets are encapsulated in IP datagrams, right? Actually what happens, they contain the acknowledgement mechanism for flow and error control, right? So they do not need a transport layer protocol to provide these services. They are directly kept in IP datagrams. Now that is all for today. We have learned today something about link state routing as well as OSPF protocol. So now, thank you.